Welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard. Today, I would like to begin with a statement that every head coach should think about. Every head coach remembers the first scholarship they offer. Very few forget the first scholarship they wish they had never offered. Well, one decision can change a season, and one person can change a locker room, and one recruit can influence a program long after everyone has forgotten how many points they scored. And this is why I don't believe recruiting is primarily about finding talented basketball players. I believe recruiting is about protecting the future of your program. Imagine this. You have just become the head coach of a university basketball team. Your athletic director walks into your office and tells you that you have three scholarships available. Within a few days, your email fills with highlight videos, scouting reports, stats, recommendations, phone calls. Everyone wants to tell you how talented a particular player is. But before I ask whether that young man or young woman can help us win basketball games, I want to ask a completely different question. Who is this person? Because basketball is only one part of who they are. Long before they become an athlete, they were someone's son or someone's daughter. They grew up in a family. They learned values. They experienced success. They experienced disappointment. They developed habits. They built character. Basketball didn't create those things. Life did. And if I am inviting someone into my program for the next 4 or 5 years, those are the things I need to understand first. Now, let me ask you another question. Would you hand the keys to your home to someone you never met before? Or would you invite a complete stranger to live with your family simply because they are talented? Of course not. Not because you are afraid, because your home matters. It is the place where the people you love gather. It is the place you protect. It is the place where values are lived every single day. You don't open your front door to just anyone. You take time to know who people are. You learn about their character, their integrity, their values, their story. Only then do you invite them inside. So why would we treat our basketball program any differently? A basketball program is another home, not because of the building, because of the people. The locker room becomes a second family. Players celebrate together, travel together, study together, face adversity together, grow together. Every person inside that environment changes everyone else. And every recruit who walks through your doors influences the culture you are trying to build. And that's why I believe every scholarship is much more than financial support. It's another key to your house. And every time you hand someone that key, you're making a statement. I believe you belong here. And that's a responsibility no head coach should ever take lightly. One of the greatest mistakes I see in coaching is allowing talent to blind our judgment. We become so impressed by athletic ability that we stop asking the questions that matters most. Can they shoot? Can they defend? Can they run? Can they jump? Those questions matter, of course, but they should never be the first questions. The first questions are much deeper. Who are they when nobody is watching? How do they treat people who can do nothing for them? How do they respond when life becomes difficult? And how do they handle disappointment? How can they accept coaching? Well, can they celebrate someone else's success? Can they apologize when they are wrong? Do they take responsibility? Do they keep their word? Because one day the jump shot may disappear, the athleticism will eventually fade, and basketball will come to an end, but character remains. If I'm building a program, I'm not recruiting stats. I am recruiting people who will shape the lives of everyone around them. That's why I refuse to make recruiting decisions after watching a few highlight videos. Highlights tell me what a player can do. They tell me almost nothing about who that person is. I want to understand the complete picture. I want to know where they come from. I need to understand their family's story, the sacrifices their parents have made, the values they were raised with, the people who influenced them, the coaches who helped shape them, the teachers who believed in them. Every person carries a story long before they arrive on campus. If I don't take the time to understand that story, then I haven't really recruited the person. I only recruited the athlete. And I believe that's one of the greatest mistakes a head coach can make. Because I'm not simply building next year's roster, I'm building the identity of a program that I hope will outlive me. Every recruit either strengthens that identity or slowly changes it. And there is no neutral decision. Because saying I'm looking for good character isn't enough. Every coach says that. The real question is, what does good character actually look like? If I were building a university basketball program from the ground up, I would begin by writing the names of players I want. I would begin by writing the kind of people I hope they become. Because recruiting should never start with a roster. It should start with a philosophy. So what kind of person I'm looking for? I'm looking for someone who is humble enough to learn. Someone who understands that coaching is not criticism, it's an opportunity to grow. I'm looking for someone who competes with everything they have but never believes they are bigger than the team. I'm looking for someone who tells the truth even when the truth is uncomfortable. Someone who accepts responsibility before making excuses. Someone who celebrates a teammate's success with the same excitement as their own. Someone who thanks the equipment manager, who respects officials even after a difficult game, who speaks kindly to cafeteria staff, who notices the person sitting alone, who understands that leadership begins with serving others. Because those habits don't suddenly appear when someone turns 20 years old. They have been developing for years. And that's exactly why recruiting is so much deeper than evaluating basketball ability. When I recruit a player, I want to know everything I reasonably can. I'll watch the games, for sure, of course I will. But after the game, is when my evaluation really begins. I need to know how they treat their parents after a loss, how they speak to younger players, whether they stay behind to help clean up, whether they thank the tournament organizers, whether they encourage the last player on the bench, whether they blame teammates after mistakes, whether they shake hands sincerely, whether they carry themselves with humility after success. Those moments rarely appear on highlight videos because those moments often tell me far more about the future than a 30-point game ever could. Then I want to meet the people who helped shape them. I want to know their parents. Not because I'm recruiting the family, because families tell stories that stats can never tell. I would ask them, tell me about your son or daughter. What makes them smile? What has been the hardest challenge they have overcome? What values have you tried to teach them? What kind of person do you hope they become? Well, those conversations matter because every player arrives carrying a lifetime of experiences. The way they handle the pressure, the way they respond to disappointment, the way they treat other people. Those things were being formed long before I met them. And if I understand where they have come from, I'll be much better prepared to help them become who they are capable of becoming. And one thing I never want to do is recruit with blind eyes because someone can score 30 points a game. Talent has a way of making us ignore warning signs. We convince ourselves, well, it will change them. Our culture will fix them. Winning will solve everything. Well, sometimes it does. Many times it doesn't. Because culture isn't protected by hoping. It is protected by making difficult decisions before they become expensive mistakes. I have always believed one sentence. Never sacrifice the future of your program for the excitement of one recruit. Championship teams are built by talented players. Championship programs are built by remarkable people. There's a huge difference. As head coaches, we are not simply selecting athletes. We are choosing future leaders, future husbands and wives, future fathers and mothers, future teachers, future business owners, future coaches, future members of our communities. Basketball is simply one chapter of their story. Our responsibility is helping them prepare for every chapter that comes after it. That's why I believe every scholarship should answer one question. If this player graduates from our program 4 years from now, will the people around them be better because they were here? If the answer is yes, I'm interested. If the answer is uncertain, I'm willing to wait because the right person is always worth waiting for. And before we finish today, I would like to leave every future head coach with one assignment. Well, when you go home tonight, open a blank notebook. At the top of the page, write one question. Who deserves a key to our house? Then don't write basketball skills. Write human qualities. I want you to write the kind of character you want sitting in your locker room every single day. I want you to write the values that your players will protect long after you have left. And I want you to write the standards that no amount of talent will ever allow someone to ignore. Because one day you will retire, your players will graduate, your assistants will move on. But if you recruited the right people, the culture will remain, the values will remain, the standards will remain, and that's when you will know you didn't just build a successful basketball team. You built a home that people were proud to belong to. The next episode, we will continue building that home because even the right players need the right people to lead them. We will talk about hiring assistant coaches, not by asking who knows the most basketball, but by asking who will best protect the vision, standards, and culture of the program we are building together. I'll see you next time.